Donald Trump's proposed border wall is no different than Ellis Island. Now, across the country, we've had leftist activists showing up at Trump rallies claiming that Trump's wall is a complete barrier of entry that will keep anyone from ever entering the United States. But that's not the case at all. Now, Ellis Island was the gateway for about 12 million immigrants who were coming in the country from 1892 to 1954. And during that time period, it was the nation's busiest inspection checkpoint. And those are two key words, gateway and inspection checkpoint. You didn't have immigrants who were just simply flooding in the country like you do today. Think about it this way, if Trump was to actually build a border wall, it'd obviously have gates at it so people can come into the country and out of the country. But when they're coming into the country, they have to do so legally. So, there's obviously going to be walls between the gates. But that's to keep unchecked immigration out. And when Donald Trump talks about building a wall, he's really talking about stricter border enforcement in general. For example, right now our borders are so wide open, we could be potentially letting ISIS militants into the country with bombs to blow up cities. Or we could be letting in illegal aliens with exotic diseases we cannot cure. And if border walls are so bad, then how come so many Central American countries are putting walls up? And how come Mexico has such strong immigration laws, some of the strongest in the world? And how come they don't allow Cubans to migrate to their country? How come they expect the United States to take care of them? And if walls are so bad, then how come so many Eastern European countries are enacting walls to keep Syrian migrants from flooding their countries? And how come the Vatican has some of the largest walls in the world and also some of the strictest immigration laws as well? I mean, you couldn't just simply move into the Vatican City if you wanted to. And one of Trump's largest critics, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, built huge walls around his mansion. And also the White House recently decided to enact even bigger walls around the complex, going from 6 foot tall to now, I believe, 11 feet tall. So you're saying it's okay to have a wall around the White House but not the U.S. border? Now, without immigration enforcement, what we'd have is uncontrolled migration. And this would be a good thing if we had a libertarian society. Case in point, let's say, for example, we have the United States and Mexico. They're both libertarian countries with constitutions that are strictly enforced. Or they're even like anarchist communities, like more in the Murray Rothbard anarcho-capitalist sense of the word. But right now what we have is a society that's ran by a global elite, and they benefit from open borders. And here's how. In order to expand the size and scope of the government, the global elite have to take advantage of manufactured crises. And one of the ways they can do this is with open borders. For example, they can let in a proxy army, such as ISIS, for example, to come into a country and wreak havoc, that they can turn into a crisis that they provide a so-called solution to end the crisis that only expands the size of government. Now, for example, the Obama administration claims that it's fighting terrorism globally, that the TSA is there to protect us from terrorists. Yet, not only do you have the Obama administration shipping guns to so-called moderate rebels in Syria who are actually linked to ISIS, but then you also had the Obama administration back in 2013 telling the Border Patrol to stand down from enforcing immigration laws. Now, if you're really fighting terrorism, you want to have a more controlled border. You don't want it wide open for anyone to get into. But by having an open border, they can allow ISIS or whoever else they want into the country to cause a manufactured crisis the government can then use to their advantage. Now, here's another great example. Turkey last year was caught smuggling arms to ISIS by hiding them in trucks bound to Syria. Now, Syria had better control of its border, which unfortunately doesn't because it's in a civil war. It would have been able to stop this. But because there was an open border practically between Turkey and Syria, Turkey exploited it to its advantage. So open borders fits into their agenda for a world government, or at the very least a political entity that's so strong worldwide that nation states are practically irrelevant. So the globalists, they want to condition you into accepting open borders. Now, borders are a symbol of a nation state and national sovereignty. It was Machiavelli who once implied that in order to condition a population into tyranny, you have to remove past symbols of liberty. In this case, the past symbol of liberty is the border of a nation state, compared to the tyranny of a world government. Once again, this is Kit Daniels with Infowars.com, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, Resistance News.
InfoWarsLife.com. DNA Force, 25% off for a limited time. Get our flagship nutraceutical DNA Force for 25% off. All supplies last. This is our most advanced product in the InfoWars store. The DNA Force is loaded with the patented Bio-PQQ compound, which is backed by 175 clinical studies, respected researchers. This amazing compound is known to influence nerve growth and regeneration. We have free shipping on orders above $50. 25% off DNA Force, and so much more. Now, I'm always so careful because the FDA and all the rest of it that I don't make claims about any of the products. Just try them. They're amazing. 5-star reviews by top health sites. They're unprecedented. This is our best product, and I was almost, in a weird way, ashamed of it because it costs so much, but it cost us $75 to $80 a bottle just to package it, just to put the Bio PQQ in it, which is the equivalent of 300 pounds of blueberries. I mean, you talk about in the winter for your immune system and stuff, this is the hydrogen bomb. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.